Welcome back to the Agriland stand here at the Ploughing 2024 Championships in Ratheniska in County Laois. We are approaching the end of our live stream now on day 3 of the ploughing here on the Thursday. And before we wrap up, now don't worry, after 3 p.m. we'll still be here at the ploughing site, working away, meeting people and chatting to people. So do continue to drop into the Agriland stand and we'll be here to chat and meet and talk to you about anything you want to discuss. But just to have a little look back on our live streams from the last 2 days, and indeed today as well, and the events that have taken place over the last couple of days. I'm joined by Richard Halloran, our tillage specialist and really our all-rounder, to be honest, in Agriland, and our senior journalist, Aisling O'Brien, who has also been co-hosting the live stream for the past 2 days with me. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
We're now coming to the end of day 3 of what has ultimately been a very successful ploughing for the NPA this year in particular. The weather goes a long way to help it. I might as well just state that the weather has been beautiful every single day, and it would seem to me, just, you know, looking at a bit of a straw poll there, to see that like the sentiment is up and the crowds are definitely up. Wouldn't be hard, I suppose, as you might say, with the buckets of rain we had last year. But there's a great vibe, Aisling, around the ploughing this year, isn't there?
Yeah, it comes at the backdrop of being a very difficult year in farming,
yes,
Stella, and it has to be said, and we can't ignore the realities that are out there on the ground. But as I was speaking with Anna Marie McHugh earlier on from the National Ploughing Association, we did agree that this is part of the social calendar for farmers up and down the country. It's very important, and I'm sure, Richard, you'd agree. You've met people here that you meet once a year, maybe, perhaps, Stella, and they might be from different parts of the country, but this is a common ground and it's a common meeting place. And I think it's a very important thing to get away from the farm for a day. And a problem shared is a problem halved. We were told that on the MOCRA panel yesterday from the young farmers as well, in terms of mental health difficulties and struggles that farmers might have out with that. And I think the ploughing is a great leveller. It brings us all together. You know, we have top level, we've the Taoiseach on site 2 days out of the 3, which is quite unprecedented. There might be an election around the corner, but it has, you know, everybody meets each other. It's a great melting pot. You've got great experts, and we have great experts in Irish agriculture. And farmers are able to access that information. They're able to meet the farm leaders. They're able to raise their concerns. But equally, they're able to go down and have chips and a burger and walk around, and soak it up, and, you know, get some merchandise here in the Agriland stand, do a bit of shopping and let the hair down for a day and do a bit of jiving or look at the brown bread making. There's so many distractions here. It's a great day out.
Well, I go to Richard next because at the end of the day we have to think about what is and what has become now the electric picnic of agriculture in this country, and it's become so much more than what it was when it started. But when it started, essentially, it was a ploughing competition. It's nearly 100 years old. This is the 97th, 98th, correct me if I'm wrong, of the ploughing. And while we all love to see all of the stands and all of the attractions and all of the machinery that might be here, sometimes I feel like people come to the ploughing and go away and not realise about the actual ploughing that goes on, the tillage ploughing. You are big into looking at all sorts, either the horse ploughing and all the tillage or the ploughing competitions down in the plots. Richard, what was that like?
Well, maybe just a general point to kick off with. This for me has been the best ploughing ever. I mean, it's a combination of the points both yourself and Aisling have already made. The weather, people are here today, yesterday and the day before, they're all in great form. Now, you touched on the fact that the ploughing is synonymous with the competition. And for me, that is so important. And I think this is the 92nd year that they have hosted the National Ploughing Championships. And for me, the highlight of 2024 was the opportunity yesterday to get down to watch the horse ploughing. It was so perfect. Beautiful weather, beautiful ground conditions. The ploughmen, the ploughwomen in total harmony with the horses. And the crowds down there yesterday morning were amazing. So that was the true highlight for me of this year's event.
And the competition is taken very seriously by the competitors as well, Richard.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, you know, maybe at your local agricultural show and there's a bit of a vintage display and people are doing... This is a serious competition because there's European Championships, there's the World Ploughing Association. I mean, it's something that's taken very seriously by the competitors.
There are thousands, literally thousands of men and women of all ages involved in competition ploughing. So if you take the national ploughing event alone, those competitors taking place here are competing this year. Prior to getting here, they had to compete in 5 events within their own county.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is serious. I mean, this is a serious competition, and it's great. I mean, they're lovely people. They all get on with each other, and they all help out. It really is. It's just perfect.
And Richard, we had the Olympics this year, and I mean, we're so good at ploughing on the world stage and in the international stage.
Yeah.
Like Stella, we had a double win at the World Ploughing Contest. We dominated at the Europeans as well, Richard. And what do you think makes us so good at it?
It's in our blood. I mean, it's just there. It's in our genetics. We just love it, and we have that tradition. By the way, you mentioned the Olympics. Yeah, I think we should have ploughing. In there.
Ploughing Olympics.
In there.
we'll put in a bid. I mean, they had breakdancing at the Olympics this year,
well,
so who's to say ploughing couldn't be
I'm not sure if we're going to be ploughing in Los Angeles, so I'm not sure where we're going to find the fields, but we'll try.
No, I think the other competition that we really should introduce into the Olympics is innovation with baler twine. I mean, the Irish nation is just so far ahead of the rest of the world in terms of what you can do with baler twine. On a wet day, on a windy day, on a whatever day, we are tops at that.
Well, you should see even the innovations that we have come across here at Ploughing 2024. I mean, you saw there on the screens earlier all of our reporters out and about meeting these small little startups or these small businesses that had an idea that would help in some way in a farming enterprise, and it has taken off. We're very good at coming up with ideas of making life easier, I suppose, on the farm, and some very innovative ideas as well. You know, as you said, be it baler twine or netting or silage wrap or additives or feed. You know, all of these things we're very good at coming up with the research on it and actually making a business plan out of it as well.
Yeah.
But I just want to go back to, I suppose, Aisling, the reason that there is such a buzz around the ploughing this time is because there's so many high-level politicians here as well, kind of creating their own buzz around the site. And as I've said, we had the Taoiseach in here earlier, and he has not been able to walk 500 metres down the thoroughfare here without getting stopped for about 7,000 selfies. You know, there's a reason for that, I suppose, in the sense that there is a general election in the offing. And do you think they're here because it's an opportunity to press the flesh, Aisling, because there's so many people in one location? Or do you think it's because politicians are now seeing the value of the rural and the farmer vote to get back into Dáil Éireann?
I think it's a bit of both. I think they're courting the farming vote very strong this year. I mean, I don't remember, and I might stand for correction, Richard, I can't remember a year where the Taoiseach has returned for a second day to the ploughing, if I'm wrong. But that shows, I suppose, it's on their radar. We had polling this week as well, which are polling that we carried out from Agriland in association with the ICMSA with opinions research, and we did see that Fine Gael are flying high. So it's no wonder that the Taoiseach probably wanted to come back down again and take those selfies and meet with the farmers. And I think that the message from all of the politicians seems to be, we're not going to dictate to farmers, we're going to discuss with farmers, we're going to value their expertise and their knowledge and not, I suppose, patronise them. And that has been happening, Richard. I think you'd say that as well, that for many years and in recent years, and under this current government, it has to be said as well, that narrative has been allowed to go on.
Yeah, I sensed genuine commitment on the part of the Taoiseach while he was with us this morning. Truly. And I've never heard a politician speak as clearly, as concisely, and with real meaning in terms of what he feels this government can do for agriculture. And I mean, the wiggle room available to him now is pretty minimal. We have a budget coming up the week after next. He actually referenced that in his comments today. And I think we talk about the harvest for agriculture. I genuinely think the harvest for Irish agriculture, the real harvest for Irish agriculture in 2024 will be the budget for 2025.
Absolutely. And I think, though, too, it's not just about riding the wave of maybe popular opinion at the moment in terms of the farming community. For example, maybe the Fine Gael TDs think they'll get a bit of a positive response. I think it's important that they're down here for accountability. They're, like all those, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Green Party have been in government for the last 4 years. There's plenty of farmers here at the ploughing for the last 3 days that have a lot of complaints. And they've experienced a lot of challenges over the last few years that they want to talk face to face to about a politician, because it's policy that came either from Europe through the national government or directly from national government that has impacted them. So it's not just important to try and make commitments for the future. I think it was important for the politicians to come down and take a bit of accountability. And if someone wanted to heckle them, they were entitled to be heckled if they had a real grievance about their family farm that they've experienced challenges in. And I think it was important, be it the Green Party or Fianna Fáil or Sinn Féin or whoever came down, that they stood here and actually took the criticism as well as the praise.
Absolutely. I mean, you see from the Teagasc 2023 National Farm Survey, the huge dip, even in the average farm income out there, to under €20,000. Like, who is going to be able to survive on that, Stella? And also, succession is a big talking point. A lot of people here are asking the politicians, how are we going to make sure that young people want to come in to this sector? And they are asking the hard questions, and they want to, I suppose, vote in the next round of politicians and the next vote or the next government to make sure that they're going to help to secure this sector. I mean, we've had huge issues. We've had payment delays. Obviously, the new cap hasn't helped that, and the rollout of different schemes. Obviously, acres being a case in point for many farmers who are very aggrieved with how things have been handled out there. But I think that, it is an opportunity, and you do see farmers stopping the politicians, whether it's maybe in some of the farm organisation tents, that they take their opportunity. And you do see the politicians, I suppose they have no choice, but they have to listen. So it is a captive audience, for the farmers. And I think that's very important. And the ploughing allows that as well. And maybe that's a unique thing in Ireland, that, we have that access to very high-level politicians for people on the ground.
That's true. And just a quick note before we finish up there on the survey, while Fine Gael did get a positive response from that survey, and it was a very targeted survey, for farm decision makers on the farm, but there was a big strong one for independents, like either individual independent candidates or Independent Ireland, more or less a rural party. So there's a protest vote there against the current establishment as well at the moment, which, parties do have to, and individuals do have to take into account. Now, I feel we're just running out of time with our live stream for day 3 of the ploughing today. I'll let you in for just very briefly, Richard.
Yeah, I think going back to the Taoiseach today, he personalised this to him in terms of what's coming down the track. And I don't think I've heard a Taoiseach before take that level of personal responsibility for agriculture. And I think Charlie McConalogue, who is not, he's the other party of the coalition, I think he's genuinely committed to agriculture.
Well, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. Today, Taoiseach Simon Harris said, "Farmers, I've got your back." That's a very personal commitment to make. And I can tell you one thing, farmers have long memories. So if this does not transpire and he gets into government in the next round and there's 5 years' time, farmers will remember exactly his words in the Agriland tent at Ploughing 2024 if he doesn't follow through on that commitment. But I have to wrap it up there for our live stream. So this is it from our live stream from the Ploughing 2024 online and on the app. If you're in the Agriland tent, do stay here, as we'll be recording our Farming Week podcast. So you'll get to hear that. It just won't be going out on the app and the website. Thank you to the entire Agriland team. I can't name them all because there have been so many who have contributed to this live stream. And Cormac Farrelly, of course, the owner of Agriland, who made it all happen. And thank you to the NPA, who are always very cooperative every year to try and get us set up and to be a partner with us as we do the official live stream. And thank you to everyone that came into the Agriland tent and told us stories as well. And all the kids that were here earlier for the Farmer Phil podcast, which was wonderful to see so many kids excited about farming in this country. And thank you to the sun gods for bringing the sunshine for the last 3 days. I hope everybody has their after sun, because they're going to need it. I've seen some scalded necks and ears and faces. Thanks so much. So stay here in the tent if you have 20 minutes, half an hour before you have to head off again for the Farming Week, which will be hosted by Aisling O'Brien. But until 2025 ploughing, take care and thanks.